It's also mentioned that he took a swan as well. Some reports mention a goose, as narrated by Ad-Dahhak from Ibn Abbas. It is also mentioned that he took an ostrich. And all of these were to be sacrificed that day, as narrated by Abu Salih from Ibn Abbas. He also decided to take a falcon and a crow and another rooster, as mentioned by Ibn Abbas. This has also been mentioned by Ikrimah, Mujahid, Ata, Ibn Jurayj, Ibn Zayd. Muqatil has mentioned the same thing. And so has Ata al-Khurasani. Ata al-Khurasani also mentioned that Allah revealed to him that he should also take a duck and a black crow and a white dove and one red rooster. So Allah differentiated even the colors to him. Now, when he was told to gather them, he killed them and he placed them, a part of them, on each mountain around him. So take this and place it on each mountain around you. He did exactly as he was told. And each portion was placed in a designated spot. And every mountain was given a specific portion, until finally all of them had been laid out. He had slaughtered them all by hand, cut their heads off, and cut the bodies up. And then he called them back, and they came back just as suddenly as they had died. And he was told, so know that Allah is mighty, meaning that He is dominant. No one dominates over Him. And He is wise in all of what He's designed and all of what He's given. Now, it's mentioned by Muqatil that this incident occurred to the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam when he was in Sham, before he had any children, and before the Suhuf was sent to him. And at this time he was some 75 years old. The Exalted One mentions the spending. The Exalted One mentions the spending, in which he says, مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة والله يضاعف لمن يشاء والله واسع عليم الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله ثم يتبعون ما أنفقوا منا ولا أذى لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون قول معروف ومغفرة خير من صدقة يتبعها أذى والله غني حليم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم بالمن والأذى كالذي ينفق ماله رئاء الناس ولا يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فَمَثَلُهُ كَمَثَلِ صَفْوَانٍ عَلَيْهِ تُرَابٌ فَأَصَابَهُ وَابِلٌ فَتَرَكَهُ صَلْدًا لَا يَقْدِرُونَ عَلَى شَيْءٍ مِّمَّا كَسَبُوا وَاللَّهُ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الْكَافِرِينَ. The likeness of those who spend their wealth in the cause of Allah is like a grain or seed of corn which brings out 7 ears of corn, each ear bearing 100 grains. Allah may increase more of that as He wills, and Allah is the most expansive and bountiful and all-knowing. Those who spend their wealth in the cause of Allah and do not remind others of the favor done by taunting or injury, their reward is with their Lord. They shall have nothing to fear, nor shall they grieve. A kind word and forgiveness are better than charity followed by reminding or injury. Allah is indeed free of all wants and forbearing. You who believe, do not spoil your charity by reminding others of the favor that you've given or by injury, like the one who spends his wealth to show off and does not believe in Allah and the last day. A person such as this is like the parable of a smooth rock covered with soil. Then a heavy shower of rain falls upon it and leaves it hard and bare. These people shall not be able to gain anything from what they have earned, and Allah does not guide a people who are unbelieving. Surat Al-Baqarah, second surah, ayat 261 to 263. When it mentions the likeness of those who spend their wealth in the cause of Allah, Allah is giving this likeness. And He gives the likeness because it is a parable. So what they spend of their wealth and such is the likeness that's made reference to. And Allah shows the difference between those who spend and those who are stingy and miserly, when He says, وَلَا يَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ يَبْخَلُونَ بِمَا آتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ هُوَ خَيْرًا لَهُمْ. Do not think that those who are stingy and greedy and miserly with that which Allah has given them from His virtue, that it is best for them or that they have escaped. Surah Al-Imran, the 3rd surah, 180. So this is referring to the fact that on the other end there are those who are miserly. Now the cause of Allah here, those who spend in the cause of Allah, is referring to 2 things. One is jihad. And secondly, it's referring to all the good actions that one can do. So Allah is telling us to spend and to give forward our wealth, because it can only increase, and Allah can increase it from 10 to 700 times or more. As Sha'abi has said, the spending of a man on himself and the people of his family is doubled 700 times over. And Allah increases for whoever He wills, meaning that He gives 700 times increase to whoever He wills. Now those who spend their wealth in the cause of Allah, this ayah, according to Ibn As-Sa'ib and Muqatil, this ayah was revealed regarding Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anh, because of how much wealth he spent in the Battle of Tabuk and his purchasing the well of Ruma in Medina. And he made this as a sadaqah for the Muslims. This ayah was also revealed about Abdur-Rahman ibn Auf, when he gave 4,000 dirhams in sadaqah. And that was half of all the wealth that he had. As far as reminding others, this means that when you remind the poor of how much money you have, oh, I've done more than you, I have more wealth than you. This is the understanding of the vast majority. And second of all, is trying to remind Allah of the sadaqah that you've done for Him. as narrated from Ibn Abbas. So it may be said by someone, how can these people be praised by leaving mentioning their wealth? And how can these people leave that? Why wouldn't they be enjoined on mentioning it? The answer to this is that when someone has this and they give their wealth, they don't seek to be praised by others. But rather, seeking to be praised by others is blameworthy. Oh, this is from such and such to so and so, if you're able to distribute the vastness of what's been given. And bragging by this and boasting. All of these things are harmful. As far as injury that's mentioned, the injury mentioned in this ayah is annoying the poor people by saying to them things like, you will always be poor. What's the point of you trying anything? Secondly, by making a public display of his goodness towards the poor. And the poor don't like their state being exposed and put in front of the people. And both of these things harm poor people. It's not from the mukhlisin, the pious and sincere people, to do this in their sadaqah. But on the contrary, the people of the household, they should be looked after. And the people who pay and give the sadaqah should look after them. So similarly, there was someone who used to buy food for the people of the house of a man and his family. Then he would give it to them, but he would give it to them in a way in which others wouldn't know that he was sustaining them. So it looked as if they were sustaining themselves. Close quote. Now what's important about this is what he's referring to is when you're giving out the sadaqah, not reminding people of, oh, look what I did for you last year, or look at how I helped you out. Because sometimes people use this as leverage to get other things from people. So they'll say, well, I'd appreciate it if you repaved my driveway. And you know, alhamdulillah, I didn't have any problem loaning you that $5,000 last year. But I'd appreciate if you repaved my driveway. Now, you didn't mention in so many words that that's what you were doing, but that is what you did. In fact, that's more insidious than reminding someone, because it puts a type of pressure on that person where they feel that they must do it. Whereas if you came out and said, well, seeing as how I did this for you last year, I think you should repay my driveway, the person could say, well, why should I do that? They might be able to refuse. But because of how insidious and despicable and snake-like and reptilian of a way that you've chosen to try to remind them, it's put a burden on them to make them feel as if, I owe this. I've got to do this. If I don't do this, this person, I might lose face. So they feel that they must do it. And then by harming people, by mentioning, oh, I've looked after this many poor people. Look at what I've done. Look at how I've done it. Or mentioning your wealth as leverage over other people. Do you know how much money I've spent in this masjid? Who are you to deny me a position on the board or the trustees or this? You know how much money I've spent on this masjid? Who do you think built that dome? These type of questions or these type of statements, you know who built that minaret over there. You'll remember who paid for it, won't you? This type of behavior, it betrays a certain sense of insincerity, and you lose the reward for the wealth that you gave. You lose that reward. And this is why you must remember not to remind people of the wealth that you took. Imam Ibn Al-Jawzi rahimahullah then says, quote, when the Exalted One says a righteous word, meaning a good word said to someone poor. For example, if he says, may Allah increase you in wealth and help your situation. And forgiveness, meaning that he veils another Muslim from bad coming across them. And he protects that Muslim. And he passes over the person asking for help. And he discharges his duty as quickly as possible. And he doesn't follow it up with anything on the back of that. And those who don't nullify their charity by reminding people are harm. So, you who believe, do not nullify your charity by reminding or harm, like the one who spends his wealth to be seen of people and he doesn't believe in Allah on the last day. What that's referring to is don't nullify the reward, because the reward of the sadaqah is lost by the person who does not believe in Allah and the hypocrite. And it's the same for the person that reminds others of what he's done. So the likeness of this one, meaning the likeness of the spending that he's done, is as if he's got a bare rock, and rain has come and cleared off all of the vegetation that's on it. So by reminding people of it, it is as if he's washed off from that rock all the vegetation, that vegetation representing the sadaqah that he gave. So it's as if there's nothing on that rock now. It's been taken away because of what he's done. And so on the day of resurrection, he won't be able to find any reward of anything that he spent in the cause of Allah. He will find nothing. And it is for this that we have to remember what has truly been mentioned to us in this regard. The Exalted One, he has said further of this, وَمَثَلُ الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ وَتَثْبِيتًا مِّنْ أَنفُسِهِمْ كَمَثَلِ جَنَّةٍ بِرَبْوَةٍ أَصَابَهَا وَابِلٌ فَآتَتْ أكلها ضعفين فإن لم يصبها وابل فطل والله بما تعملون بصير. And the likeness of those who they spend their wealth seeking the pleasure of Allah and to strengthen themselves is like a garden which is on a high lofty place. When a heavy rain falls upon it, it bears double fruit. And if there's no heavy rain, then even a gentle frost or a dew is enough to sustain it. And Allah sees all of what you do. Close quote. Now this particular ayah is important because in this parable, look at the difference that Allah is making between the person that reminds others of their wealth and the person that harms other people, and then the person that doesn't. The person that doesn't, they've got that garden, the rain comes on it, it produces double, and if it doesn't, the dew, it has the permafrost and everything else that gets on it, but that's enough to sustain it. But the other person gets heavy rain. It's them reminding other people, they get the heavy rain, and it clears everything off. So the source of that person where the heavy rain's clearing everything off is what? Is them. That's their own reminding of people and other things. It clears it off. Well, what's the source of the rain coming down on the believer and the person that doesn't right? Allah is sending that as increase. Allah is increasing it. Because remember what Allah said in the previous ayah, that He doubles it and increases it as they so receive. He doubles it and increases it. So this is what Imam Ibn Al-Jawzi rahimahullah, he now discusses. He says, quote, so those who spend their wealth seeking the pleasure of Allah, meaning they seek His pleasure and His glory. And establishing their hearts is that they spend what they have and they give charity. And this is the statement of Ash-Sha'bi, Qatada, As-Sudai, and others. So, the spending that they give, they look where they're going to give the spending. And they distribute it. And this is the statement of Al-Hasan, Mujahid, and Abu Salih. And when the Exalted One says, it is like a garden, the word Jannah here carries the contextual meaning of Bustan. And so, it is understood exactly like this. And the garden that is there is a raised garden that they have. And it receives the sustenance. And it receives all of that which has been given to it. And so it gets double its portion. Double its output. And that rain which is coming to it is always. And it's soft and it's enough to maintain it. Because this rain is coming from outside the garden. It's coming from another source.